Hello everybody, this is Paul Quinterio and welcome to the Zonal OCR webinar. It's 12 o'clock noon here in Utah and I hope you're having a great day wherever you are located in this country. This is a 30-minute webinar, so it's fairly quick, and we'll discuss the Zonal OCR and the benefits of it. I've been with eFileCabinet now almost 10 years, and so it's been exciting for me to see how technology keeps changing things and making things better. So let's get going. We have a lot to cover in just 30 minutes. Each of you have been muted. However, there's a place that you can type in questions as we go along. And there is somebody here helping me with the questions in the background because I'll be looking at them more towards the end of our time together. So this is what you saw advertised as far as this webinar. Do you want to earn more billable hours this tax season? So we're talking about a new virtual record manager, eFileCabinet and Zonal OCR. If so, our updated version of Zonal OCR is perfect for you. Now, some of you may know we've had Zonal OCR since 2015. And the only constant today is change. And technology keeps making things better, as I mentioned. And our Zonal OCR is getting better and better. And we'll talk about the benefits of that. Okay, and so this again is what you signed up for, a dramatic reduction in manual form filing. That takes a lot of time. Technology now can save us that time, and we can use that time in other ways. File retrieval so fast it feels like the file found you, and I'll demonstrate this. As we get into the Zonal OCR demonstration, I'm going to lay some foundation that needs to be there. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. For the benefits that don't know it, we'll talk about once you get the documents into the software, how you can find them very quickly. Automated document routing, store, and printing. It does it automatically, and that's what's cool. A solution that helps process large application file with, again, amazing speed. Time is money. And then finally, are you ready to have a virtual records manager? You can keep off the payroll. That's what's neat about this. It's not someone you have to pay to put this information into the system. It does it automatically. So that's what you're here for. Thank you again for being here. Let's get started. First, I want to talk about the overview of Zonal OCR before we actually get into the demonstration of it and why it is so exciting. So, in Zonal OCR, this is part of document management software. It's a piece. Document management software is a growing, dynamic solution that helps us. It's not stagnant. As technology allows us to put different pieces in there, this is one of them. So physically, this is how we do things, most of us. If somebody comes in, if this person comes in, let's say with a W-2, it's a new client, a new tax client, and it's Josephine Bruin. She brings in her W-2. How do you do it? How do you handle it now? Well, that information, as you look at a W-2, the W-2 is a standard form. Okay, the only difference between one W-2 and another is the information contained therein, which are the unique identifiers. So she brings this standard form in, and in most cases, the way you put that information from that W-2 into your software is somebody has to type it in. Okay, who likes doing that? Who likes the redundancy of data entry? No one, I think, really enjoys that, plus it costs money. So instead of having to do it manually, just simply by scanning now, you can capture that information. So Josephine comes in and brings in that W-2. Notice it's 2015 because we did have Zonal OCR back then, but it's much better today. And so she brings the document in instead of physically having to type that in. Prior to that, you identify in a blank document, in this case it's a W-2, can be any standard document, the different fields that are important to you that capture that information. It can be all of them, it can be some of them. Instead of typing it in, you have what's called a template. You create in this case, a W-2 template. These would be blank fields, but you're identifying what fields of information you want to pull into your software. And so you do that ahead of time. And then you do it once and you don't have to do it again. It becomes a standard template for you. Okay, so in this particular case, when that is identified, when that document is scanned, okay, that information then, the physical document, when you do that, in our case, becomes an electronic copy and it becomes a PDF. And as that happens, what happens is in an instant, those fields that you've identified ahead of time are automatically captured during the scan into the profile section of the software. So you don't have to type this in. It brings it in automatically, whatever fields you want, be they many or few. Now these all become searchable. We'll talk about that in a second. So, and in this case, then, what happens in an instant, you have the physical document, it's scanned, it becomes that PDF, and the moment that happens, it automatically populates the fields within the software eFileCabinet, so it's there. And the other thing our software does too is, here is eFileCabinet. If you look on the left, there's a tax client individual cabinet, and each one of those little blue icons are drawers, and they represent the different pretend clients in this example. Now, Josephine is a new customer, a new client. She came in, we scanned her W-2, and automatically the Zonal OCR software does this. It automatically, if the drawer doesn't exist already, it will create Josephine's drawer off of the information on the W-2. And then it will also create a folder structure if you decide you need that off of that scan. And you can see here it brings in that information off of that W-2 into the software. There is the W-2 stored, and there is the W-2 that can be viewed inside the eFileCabinet, all from a scan once you set up that profile information and set up the template and create the different fields that you want in there. So really what this does, it eliminates the need for data entry. And again, I'm going to go show you exactly, we're going to get into it and let it run so you can see it. But some foundation basic things I think that are important to understand as we get into this is, how do you search? Profiling. Okay, profiles is what Zonal OCR uses in the search. Names, the names of things, and optical character recognition. There's OCR and then there's Zonal OCR. So it's important to understand the difference between the two and how they are similar. Okay, find any files in seconds, and that's what we are talking about here. And that's one of the points that we signed up for in this, is file retrieval so fast it feels like the file found you, and that's what happens. Profiling. Let's just briefly talk about profiling. Profiling is unique identifiers. They're metadata. So an example of a unique identifier, if this were the United States of America, a map, and we want to find, let's say, just the state of Utah, Utah would be a unique identifier. And so there's the state of Utah, identifies this one geographical location. If I want to expand it to a zip code, that's a unique identifier. Now the geographical location has been narrowed. And if I put in an entire address, these are all unique identifiers. It helps me find this location. This is where our office is in Lehi, Utah. Another example quickly would be a social security number. Those are unique identifiers. They were never intended to be at first, but they are now. So here's Elvis Presley's social security number. Look back then, for social security purposes, not for identification. Well, they are used for identification now. And so this is profile information, and within our software, which is automatically populated using Zonal OCR, here's examples in our desktop. We have a desktop solution and an online solution. In our desktop solution, you can see here profile information. Okay, so these are unique identifiers to, if I search for any of this information here up here, it will bring me back to that document. This is our desktop. Here's our online product. Here are unique identifiers: full name, email, customer name, Benny Hill, Benny Hill's email address. If I search for any of this information up here, it will bring me back to Benny Hill's drawer. That's profiling. So you no longer have to search anymore because of technology for a document by going to a cabinet, either electronically or physically, or a drawer or folders or subfolders. You can search directly for a document by its name and find it in an instant. You can also search not only by the document names, but also by a drawer name, a folder name, and profiling. Profile information. Again, Zonal OCR uses this, strongly uses this. And then also OCR and indexing. Let's talk about OCR, optical character recognition. When you scan a physical piece of paper, you're making that electronic copy. As I mentioned, it becomes a PDF in our case. The moment that happens, the computer does not recognize any of the letters, the characters, or the words within that document until the OCR process happens. They call them OCR engines. Okay, OCR engines, like a jet engine or a car engine. And once that process happens, then that document, the words and the letters and the characters inside that document become searchable. So for example, you see the word Gildersleeve there. He's an old radio character from the 1940s. If I had thousands and thousands and thousands of documents, and I'm looking just for the documents that contain the word Gildersleeve inside of it, that's what OCR allows me to do. I can do a search and find that. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to show you these searches, then we'll get into the OCR or the Zonal OCR software. So I'm going to show you how to search by OCR, by profiling, by name. So we're going to demonstrate that within the software. So here's eFileCabinet desktop, and I'm an accountant. I'm pretending I'm a CPA accountant, tax accountant. I have a client. His last name's Smith, but I have a lot of Smiths. All I can remember about this client is for some reason, his street address name. It's called Briarwood. And so I'm going to do an OCR search and find the W-2 I'm looking for Smith. And I'm going to do it by coming into the software, and I'm going to type in the word Briarwood, a full text search. I'm going to look in every cabinet, every drawer, and every different document. And I could have millions of documents. For any document that contains the word Briarwood inside the document, search. I come up with 4 documents. There's the W-2 I'm looking for. I left click. I have a detailed window. I can see right there. There's the word Briarwood. That's the W-2. That's a PDF. It found the word there. I can right click on that document and go to the location of where it is stored inside eFileCabinet in the tree. It's in John Smith's drawer. It's in the text folder, and there is the document. That's an OCR search. I look for words within the document. Now I'm going to do a profile search for the same document. Now the town that this person lives in is the town of Northbrook. So I'm going to do a general search. This searches for profile, searches for names. I find 1 document, 2 locations that have Northbrook in it, 1 document. Now it's the same document I found, but I found it from the profile information. And there it is. And so if I right click and go to the location, it's the same document, the same location. You never lose anything with this technology. You can always find things. It's not pulling it off now from the document itself like it did Briarwood. It's pulling it off from the profile information. The last search I'm going to do is a name search. I'm going to look for George Washington's tax returns. I'm going to type in tax return, but I'm going to get a huge return. This isn't really manageable because I have so many things that I've called tax return. So all I have to do now is expand that search a little bit, and I'm just going to type in the word George. And so I'm going to search and find all the Georges I have, which are only 3. There's George Washington's tax return. Left click on it in the preview window. There it is, the 1040 for 2014. Now where is it located in the tree? I can right click, go to location, and in an instant I can find there's George Washington's drawer. And in the federal subfolder, there is the document. There is the 1040 that I was able to find just because of the name search. So those are the different ways you can search. Zonal OCR allows you to put this information into eFileCabinet. So let's get to that point now, and that's why you're here. One of the reason I'm showing you this scanner is you can scan directly using Zonal OCR, or you can have the documents already exist electronically and bring it in. And it's good to have a good scanner. Now this particular scanner will do 65 pages a minute. So you can have multiple clients in one stack of paper, and through Zonal OCR, it will take them and place them where you need them to go. So this is just an example. I encourage you to have a good scanner with this. Okay, so let's talk about Zonal OCR and what's new. If some of you have seen our Zonal OCR in the past, some of the things that have come up now are really exciting. Okay, new single form mode, single document mode. When Zonal OCR recognizes that a page matches the single form, we talk about forms, I showed you how to create those forms with those fields, it extracts the information and saves all the filing pages into a single file. It doesn't look at those. So for example here, if I set it up for a single document mode, and when I set up in the tools, I have 9 pages here. and you can see select form 1. This is a form that, let's say this is a 1040, and this is a 1040, and this is a 1040. Okay, in a single document mode, it's only going to process the first page and make one document. One document will be stored into eFileCabinet with the information coming off the one page. Now, what I'm going to show you though is split document mode. This is what's new. This is to me really exciting. So again, it's the same 9 pages, but now what will happen is each one of these selected forms, in my case, will be a 1040 for a different client. And so what will happen now, as the Zonal OCR process takes place, I'll have one document or one scan with these 9 pages, and because of the smartness of the software, it will break up in these 9 pages into 3 separate pages, 3 separate forms, and store them in 3 separate locations. Now, what I'm going to do is I have something set up that we're going to do. I'm going to do just 2. You'll see George Washington's 1040 will be one form, and Abraham Lincoln's 1040 will be another. And so we will have pages that are all put together. I'll show you in a moment. And I'm going to store these. And as I store them through Zonal OCR, it will break up the one PDF into 2 different documents and store them in 2 different locations in the example that I'll show you. So let's do that. So now I'm inside on the screen, and we're going to open up the Zonal OCR. So let's do that right now. Here's a W1040, I should say, 4 pages. There's George Washington's 1040. There is Abraham Lincoln's 1040. It's connected in one PDF. So I'm going to use Zonal OCR to split these into 2 PDFs and store them in 2 different locations inside eFileCabinet. So as I bring in the eFileCabinet, I'm going to show you inside where they will be stored. I have a tax client cabinet. I have all these cabinets in here, but what I'll do to make it easier, one of the things I can do is go up to the cabinet itself, and one of the functions is I can right click on it and make it one of my cabinets, which is like one of my favorites. It just sets it apart so I'm not seeing all the other cabinets. So now it's all by itself. I could have thousands of drawers here. I don't have that many, but it doesn't matter because this software is intelligent. So I'm going to go down to Abe Lincoln's drawer, and inside Abe Lincoln's drawer in the 2016 folder, I have a subfolder called Source Documents, which is empty. That's where I'm going to place his 1040. Now, down below that, alphabetically, I can find George Washington, the 2016 folder. Inside there, there's a Source Documents folder, which I'm going to put George Washington's 1040 in there. So I have one PDF. Okay, I've opened up the Zonal OCR, and there's a number of different functionality. This isn't really a training of this. There's a lot of things you can set up here. It's easy. I have 2 different forms that I've set up. I have a prescription form and I have a 1040. There's no limit to the number of forms. So in this 1040, I've already identified the fields I want. I could do all of them, but I just identified a first name, a last name, a social security number, a spouse name, the items that are listed on that 1040 that I think are important. How do I create these? I'll show you a little bit of training here. It's pretty easy. You can zoom in. You decide what fields that you want to capture information. Notice this is a blank. You use a blank form. And so let's say I want to capture the information off of that field from a document of a customer that's filled out. So I can identify that. I can then name that field whatever I want to name it. Usually the name will correspond to what it says on the 1040 or whatever document that you're processing. So it's really that easy. I can also go back and I can either clear the field or delete it. So I'm just going to delete that field. So some of the functionality within the software. So you can see what I'm capturing there. You can see the information that's coming off of that 1040. It's blank right now until I process it. Then when I process it, you'll see the fields fill out with the information. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take that PDF that I showed you and I'm going to pull it in to the Zonal OCR by simply coming up to the Save button. I want to show you the routing too really quick. This is how I actually set up, what cabinet's going in, what drawer it's going in. Do I need to create a drawer? Do I need to create a folder? Does it already exist? So this is where you actually have the tools to do that. I'm just showing you some of the tools. Again, this is not training, but I'll show you some of the tools that are fairly, very easy and intuitive to use. Okay, and I have some settings here. This is where I decide what mode I want to have it in, single, or do I want it to split? Do I want to see the process as it's happening, or do I just want it to happen? So I'm going to add the file now. This opens up a window into the computer I'm sitting on, and I'm going to grab that 1040 that I showed you. There it is from my desktop. There's George Washington's page. Go down 2 more pages. There's Abe Lincoln's page in that PDF. They're together. Okay, so this now, as I open it, will bring that document from my desktop into the Zonal OCR software. And there it is. And so now I'm going to process it. Now it's going through the process. It's actually taking that document. It's looking at those different fields. It's matching. It's pulling information off of those fields. And it's going to split it. All right, so there is the first page. George Washington's information, you can see now, is populating those windows that came off of that PDF. And you can see there's Social Security number. There is the spouse. You can see all that information is now captured. Okay, so that's one. And I hit save. Now I could have this automatic. I don't need to see this, but I'm showing you, I'm pulling it up so you can review it. Sometimes you want to review it to make sure it goes in correctly, especially if your copy isn't that clean. Zonal OCR is not a perfect science. If you have a bad copy coming in, you may want to make sure the information was pulled off correctly. So again, here's Abe Lincoln's information that's coming in, and you can see it. It's come in good. I save that. Now both of those have saved to different locations inside eFileCabinet automatically. So I'm going to go and close the zone or minimize the Zonal OCR software. And I'm going to go back to eFileCabinet. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at what's happened. So there is the tax client cabinet. I'm just going to search. I can search directly for a drawer very quickly. I have thousands of drawers. This is the way to do it. I want George Washington's drawer to come in the top. I go into 2016. There is the source documents folder. There is the document, 2 pages inside eFileCabinet. And there is the 1040, 1 page, 2 pages for George Washington. And as I close this, you can see the profile information is right there. All that is searchable. It came off that document through Zonal OCR. Now let's take a look for Mr. Abe Lincoln and get his 1040. So I'm going to search for Abe's drawer. There it is. I'll go down to the 2016 folder and then go into the source documents folder, and there is Abe Lincoln's 1040. They were split. There's his profile information I can search for, and there is the document stored inside eFileCabinet, totally encrypted. Again, this works with both of our platforms. This happens to be our desktop platform. And then, you can eyeball it if you want to. So I'm going to do that quickly and show you. I can just eyeball and go down to Abe Lincoln's drawer and open it there. You can see it with all the others. Now, I could have done this process not just with the 2. I could have had multiple clients that I could have scanned this. And I could probably scan in 60 pages, and they would all go to the respective clients because of Zonal OCR and go into the respective drawers. All right. That is Zonal OCR. And now, just as we get at the end of this, before we get into some questions, we'll have some time for some questions. Again, do you want to earn more billable hours this tax season? Okay. And so being paperless office is the best way to do it. That's the beginning. Have a document management solution that allows you to go paperless, and then all these other technologies like OCR and Zonal OCR and the searching capability become part of that. All right, just a little bit about who we are at the end here. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. This is the map you saw. The reason I had Utah identified is that is where we're located. We're located in Lehi, Utah. And we have 3 different products right now. eFileCabinet Desktop, that's what I was demonstrating on. That's what you saw. eFileCabinet Online. The difference being desktop is client server. That means the software sits on our customers' computers, on their server, within their firewall, within their environment. online, it sits in our servers. And so there's benefits to both, but the Zonal OCR works seamlessly with both of these products, whatever platform you choose. We also have Secure Drawer, which is our portal that seamlessly works with either eFileCabinet Desktop or eFileCabinet Online, that allows you to securely move files, huge files, big files, to your clients back and forth. And our Secure Drawer, we were pretty excited about this, was for the last 2 years for portals, was recognized as the Reader's Choice Award for 2015 and 16 for the CPA Practice Advisor. So that is another piece of what we do. All right. Also, if you are interested, we have on our website, or we can send you, we have multiple clients that love to talk about how much they like eFileCabinet. And if you're interested, we can send you a copy of this presentation in a PDF and have links to these, or go to our website and you can hear multiple people talking about eFileCabinet. All right, we are at the end. We have a few minutes left. I want to thank each of you for attending. If you want more information on this, we can get into more details and how it works. This was kind of an overview for those who are just kind of looking to see what this is all about, because there's a number of you are probably further down the road. Some of you, this is very basic, but if you're interested, we'd love to have you contact us, or we would love to be able to show you more and see if we can answer any specific questions on a one-on-one demo if you're interested. And so let me see what kinds of questions we have here that are coming in. Let me entertain those right now. Okay, Colleen asks the question. It's a good one. How does Zonal OCR W2 forms that are in other formats? Excellent question. What you would need to do is, if it's a different format, there's no limit to the number of templates you can create. So you may have to have more than one template created because of the different formats. So you go in there and identify in a blank W2, if it's a different one, the fields that you want. And the software is intelligent. You just pick the template that you need in that case, and then it will recognize that. But yes, you may have different W2s. Obviously, we go different years. We'll have two different 1040s. Maybe you have to change it from one year to the next. But that's the only real initial work that you have to do, is just fill out whatever template you want, whatever information you want to pull off, and then you'll have to do that once. Again, you're in the tax industry, you have different forms that you use, so you may have more than one template if you want to pull that off. But yes, that's a great question. Let's see. Here's a question from Debbie. Does it save in the PDF form? Yes. Can I use for photos? Yes, you can. All right, let me see. Another question. Good question. Merlin asks, does the software come with any standard forms, or do we have to create all of them from scratch? We have some templates to assist you. We also can help you do that. We can help you with the training. It's not that complex. It depends too. You see a 1040 and you've got a lot of fields in there. If you want to pull them all off, it's a little more time consuming just identifying all those fields. I just showed you in the 1040 the ones that are most important at the top, and that didn't take me long to do that. Okay, question Colleen asks, tax software can set it up to automatically print eFileCabinet to correct drawer and file. Yes, you can print to eFileCabinet to the direct drawer and file. That's one of the features. I didn't show that to you. There's so much more to show, and we only had a half hour, and we are at the 12:30 mark. And so those of you that need to jump off, we had this for 30 minutes, but I'll be happy to stick around for a while. And we will make sure that any questions not answered here will get an answer to you. The question is, Zonal OCR an add-on to eFileCabinet or a separate subscription? That's a great question. When we're dealing with OCR or Zonal OCR, here's an analogy I've used. If you've ever flown on an airplane like Boeing, Boeing creates airplanes. They make airplanes. They specialize in airplanes. They do not make the engines that are attached to it. General Electric does, Rolls-Royce does. They buy those engines and then they seamlessly attach those engines to those planes. And so then it's a seamless airplane. We do the same. There's only a few companies that are very, very huge that can have the capacity to create this OCR software. We purchase that OCR software and the Zonal OCR software from these big companies, and then we seamlessly attach it to eFileCabinet. So the answer to your question is yeah, it's an extra for the Zonal OCR or the OCR because we're paying a second party to do that. Let's see. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate each of you for again taking time on this. Think your questions have been good, and I am going to again invite you to take a look at this if you're interested. We can show you in more detail. I hope each of you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. And I want to say thanks again and bye for now.